Hola! Hola, hola, which means hello. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to another edition, not live, but found on From the Bleachers Sports Show. This is Cleanpin. We're at episode 16, and this is a wrestling podcast. Well, you guessed it, talking about wrestling, and we talk about wrestling news, rumors, speculations, comings and goings from the past week in wrestling. Episode 16, and I please ask you to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the little bell, hit the little notification. It would mean also very much to me. We are at Cleanpin, episode 16 here, guys. And, where do we begin? News of some rumored names going into the Hall of Fame for WWE. First name to be going in there, and obviously no particular order, but we have the rumored name of the Bellatwins going into the Hall of Fame. Now, a lot of people online are saying, the Bellatwins going into the Hall of Fame. What are they doing going into the Hall of Fame? They don't deserve going into the Hall of Fame. Well, guys, listen. I think if we look at, recent, this is not, how can I put it? This is not a Hall of Fame that has a lot of criteria, for lack of a better word. I don't think when the higher ups of the company are looking to induct the wrestlers, certain wrestlers at least, I don't think they look at work rate. I don't think they look at how many 5-star matches did they have. I don't think that's what the Hall of Fame for the WWE is about, quite honestly. It's about people that moved the needle. The Bellatwins did, in fact, you might say, bring the women's division. They helped bring it into the mainstream, to the main public, to the main eye. Total Divas on E. Total Bellas on E. Then opened up other shows, Real Housewives. You could make the argument. Kind of brought that type of reality TV, if you want to call it reality TV, onto the forefront and center. And listen, as much as we might want to knock it, fact of the matter is, Total Divas and Total Bellas have been on for a very, very long time on the E channel. And when you are on a cable network for a long time, what happens is people that started watching Total Divas, Total Bellas, may have then also started peeking their eyes at the WWE product. So, in a sense, they helped spear the WWE social movement, pop culture movement, Twin Magic. They did play a part. They did play a part. They got some eyes to look at the WWE, maybe open it up to a audience, a demographic, and women that they really weren't appealing to before the Bellatwins. Now, were the Bellatwins the greatest in the ring? No. At first, they were pretty damn horrible. Over time, Nikki became a better wrestler. She did make a conscious effort to be a better wrestler. Brie, I mean, Brie, you figure she would improve, being that she is married to Daniel Bryan. She was going out with Daniel Bryan before she married him. She really did not approve at all. She was horrible, in fact. But listen, they did, they did bring eyes onto the product. They helped spear it. Another name going into the Hall of Fame as well is JBL. Just, how can you forget JBL? John Bradshaw Layfield, the Wall Street executive that's, a southern tough guy, cowboy, big on Wall Street, smart, richer, better than all of you. The longest reigning, as he dubbed himself, the longest reigning SmackDown champion for quite some time there. Was actually, even before he became a JBL, was part of that team with Ron Simmons and the Acolytes. So that tag team too was a success. With Ron Simmons. Until they broke away, and he became JBL. In the earlier stages, before he was JBL and before he went joining the Acolytes, his singles career, really not so much, not so good, but he did find his groove, he did find his niche. As JBL, his feuds with Eddie Guerrero were great. His feuds with Rey Mysterio were great. And he was one of these guys with that JBL character that could really go on the mic and really made you just completely hate him. So you can't. I don't really have a complaint with him going into Hall of Fame. You also have going into the Hall of Fame the rumored name as well, British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith. How can you forget his match with his feud with Bret Hart, his matchup with Bret Hart at Wembley Stadium? How can you forget that? It was a classic. SummerSlam '92, right? If I'm not mistaken. How can you forget that? A classic match. He married into the Hart family. Bret Hart's brother-in-law. He had a singles run. Just quite never really. He was always. I remember he was always just almost there, but not quite. There was always something that would happen to kind of stop him from reaching that top. But he was a specimen. Great look, great physique. How can you forget about the British Bulldogs with the Dynamite Kid when they were a tag team? Used to bring Matilda, I believe, was the dog, right? Matilda used to bring Matilda into the ring with the British Bulldogs. Now it's not. Remember, that's not the British Bulldogs going into the Hall of Fame. It's actually Davey Boy Smith. But when you think of Davey Boy Smith, you also got to think about British Bulldogs. And I know there is some type of not all is well with Dynamite Kid and the WWE. Now that Dynamite Kid has passed away, you might see. I think eventually you might see the British Bulldogs going in. As you can make the argument that it should never be about politics. It should be, no matter what the relationship is. But that's unfortunately not the way it works. It's a Hall of Fame that the WWE owns and runs, and no one else, no outside party runs the Hall of Fame. So it's the WWE that kind of gets the final say. So JBL, JBL, British Bulldog. How can you forget also the running power slam by Davey Boy Smith? Passed away way too young. I think passed away like in early 2000 of a heart attack. Way too young. His son, too, if you remember, was with the WWE for a cup of coffee. For some time, rather. Then, he was MMA and then went over to Japan. Now you could actually catch him in MLW. So he's there as well. But, congratulations to, Davey Boy Smith. Congratulations to the Bellatwins, and congratulations to JBL. There is a rumor, another rumor, and this is what we do. We just talk about the rumors, throw it out there, give you my, my estimation, my guess. The rumor going around, when John Cena, this is the latest rumor regarding John Cena, makes his debut, not debut, but makes an appearance rather on SmackDown. He's scheduled to make an appearance on SmackDown February 28th, and that's when kind of everything will set the ball in motion to kind of begin his program for WrestleMania. The rumor is that he's scheduled to be a part of WrestleMania this year. And one of the names that are being thrown around is Elias. Now, remember, it would make the most sense. Well, I don't know if it will make the most sense. Is it the best choice? Where you left off with Elias and John Cena. Remember, Elias was doing his concert out of WrestleMania. Out comes John Cena and just completely does a few moves on Elias. And that was the end of it. That was Elias's WWE, his WrestleMania moment. Now, if something picks back up again with Elias and John Cena at this coming SmackDown, it would make sense considering where it left off for Elias, right? Elias needs to kind of get his revenge on John Cena, you might argue. Now, Elias, he's been in a state of kind of like the Big Show, in the sense of face, heel, face, heel, face, heel. It seems like it's been happening all too many times here, all too much recently for Elias. Right now, he is a face. He's a face. Now, if you're gonna have, how would this work now? Right? Do you have Elias turning a heel yet again for this match, and then would turn face again? At this point, Elias is doing singing, and it works. It works. But wrestling, not so much. I don't know. I don't know how much of a shock factor it would be if Elias were to turn heel for this program with John Cena, being that this has happened so many times before already. We've seen Elias face, heel. So if you really don't care about shock factor, I think, I think you could have Elias turning heel against John Cena in this program. He's going to make fun of John Cena. And it was a couple of songs leading up to it, so on and so forth. And then, you have your match at WrestleMania. And I think it really wouldn't matter whether he turns face or heel at this point, because he's always singing, and his small songs, his insults could always be adjusted, could always cater. It always will work. It will never really get old, because every song will be different, and he's able to change it up that way. But if you really want the most impact, and it will be brilliant, it would make Elias get tons the more applause. John Cena comes out, says, "Listen, I'm back. Want a WrestleMania match?" Elias comes out and says, "John Cena, you said you would never leave us. Remember a few years ago when you were talking about The Rock? You said that you would always stay here in the WWE, unlike The Rock, who left for Hollywood. Well, what's happened, John Cena? You became The Rock. You've left for Hollywood as well." And well, at that point, that's when the audience goes, "He's right. John Cena has left us. We can't see him," says Elias. John Cena then hits Elias with the mic, takes his guitar, smashes the guitar over his head, and now you have a John Cena heel turn, albeit for a short time for WrestleMania, and Elias going into the face. The internet fans would cream their pants because John Cena has finally turned heel. He will be the Thugonomics John Cena at WrestleMania, going up against the face Elias. Elias will still get crushed and gets lost and will lose, but who cares, because we have heel John Cena. Do, 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 do. Can you see that happening? Probably not, but one could dream. Can we not? Can we not? There's, speaking of surprises, what will happen, we don't know. we're still waiting. And if you guys are, another rumor that has been circling around the internet community is apparently what is in, for those of you that care, what is in Eric Rowan's cage. Apparently, now, listen, if you don't want to be spoiled, I would probably leave for about 2 minutes starting now. Okay. Apparently, what is in Eric Rowan's cage is rumored to be, get ready. Are you ready? Do you have an idea? It's supposedly a spider. Yes, a freaking spider. All this suspense, all this building up. It's been how many weeks since Eric Rowan has been coming out and just been running through people? Everyone is petrified. They peek what's under the drape of that cage, and they get horrified. And it is a freaking spider. Now, you might say, well, all this for a freaking spider. Listen, this cage is being used as part of, Eric Rowan's gimmick here. Not only is he supposed to be petrifying, but he's also, people are supposed to be petrified what he has in the damn cage. A spider is not going to do it, folks. The suspense should not be leading up to a damn spider. Because you know what's going to happen? It's going to be like, a damn spider in this cage. Who the hell cares? I don't care about the damn spider. I'm no longer interested in the cage. I'm no longer interested in Eric Rowan because I've seen him in the Wyatt family. I've seen him as part of the Bludgeon Brothers. I then seen him again with Luke Harper, and now I'm seeing him as a single star yet again. I have not cared before. Now you gave me a spider, and I still do not care. Now get Eric Rowan off of my TV. I am no longer interested. Now I'm going to go make my sandwich during the Aaron Rowan match, now that in fact I know it's a spider of all things under his cage. I don't know. Maybe make it a a skull with blood coming out of it. Or maybe a skull with hair. Or maybe like this extinct animal. I don't know. But to build all that suspense up for a damn spider, it's just a huge deflation. Huge deflation. We have yet to find out what's actually in that spider. What's in the cage. We have yet to find out. And, Rowan actually took a loss against Aleister Black. The first loss that he has had in quite some time here. So now we're factoring all of that in. And, maybe this is the beginning of the end for that Eric Rowan hype train. Gotta give me something better than a spider. Please. There is talk recently that, Vicky Guerrero, who's had her own podcast, I believe it's called Excuse Me, she recently reached out to the WWE and has been wanting to get a couple of guests. You got to go through WWE, like talent relations, and and the talent need to get permission to go on certain podcasts. Well, the WWE has not been talking to Vicky Guerrero since Vicky Guerrero has made an appearance on AEW recently on commentary. Since then, they have turned the cold shoulder, so to speak, and they want nothing really, it seems like, to do with Vicky Guerrero since that time frame. Well, listen, guys. Listen, and you can't fault Vicky Guerrero. She, in the sense of appearing on AEW, she needs to, continue making a living, right? She has that right to continue making a living. But, WWE also has that right to saying who goes on what podcast. The WWE, it's if you look at it, like even like sports, like certain sports stations, if let's say you're like I don't know, Entercom Media, and you don't have the rights to, I don't know, the Galaxy soccer team, right? And the other station, you might not get Galaxy players coming on an Intercom station because you don't have those right. You're not carrying Galaxy games. So where will the Galaxy players be allowed to go? Well, they're going to be allowed to go to only stations that are part of the company that carry Galaxy games. So it's a common thing. The WWE, I think they want to kind of have that perception or that idea of, trying to give out that illusion that they have control of you. They have control of, what is being said on these podcasts. And you really got to be, seems like pro, hurrah, WWE. If you say one thing negative about WWE, and you go somewhere else, you go to a competition, or, you show up somewhere else, then, WWE has a thing for that, and they're like, nah, we won't help you out. Why are you even watching the other product? Why are you even on the other product? It's only us or nothing at all. So, whether it's right or wrong, you be the judge, but, it's, it is what it is. It is what it is. It would, and actually, it's, and does WWE need a Vicky Guerrero podcast to be on their side? Not really. I mean, WWE has already all these platforms where their superstars show up. They're featured on Fox. ESPN makes reference to them. WWE is being covered, and the superstars are being covered pretty much by every media outlet right now, right? A Vicky Guerrero podcast really won't do much for them. It would do something for, Vicky Guerrero, though. So, unfortunately, how it's going to work, it seems like to me, is Vicky Guerrero got to play by the WWE terms. And that's her choice if she wants to or not. I'll tell you, That segment from this past Raw. An opening segment. Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. I'm sorry. Matt Hardy. I was getting confused. Matt and Jeff. That opening segment where, Randy Orton says, you know what, I'm sorry, I apologize, and he takes off, goes back up the ramp, and the camera is zooming in on his eyes, and everything that emotion from the sorrow is in his eyes. Then from being the a-hole, cold blood, again, in the eyes and the face, he's able to elicit his emotions perfectly through his face. That's Randy Orton. And when he is into a particular segment, a particular angle, heel Randy Orton is unstoppable. You can't top that version of Randy Orton when he is dialed in, like he was dialed in this past Monday night and for this whole angle, ever since the Royal Rumble. Just everything is in the facial expression. For Valentine's Day, we had that Valentine's Day angle of Otis and Dolph Ziggler and Mandy Rose. Otis was getting ready for his date with Mandy Rose on Valentine's Day. He was going to meet Mandy Rose at the restaurant. Mandy Rose was ready. She was sitting at the table already. And then what happens? In comes Dolph Ziggler and pretty much takes the date. Takes the spot of Otis. Takes his chair that was waiting for him. Got all friendly with Mandy. And Mandy and Dolph were chatting up a storm. Dolph gets there a few minutes early. Then Otis. Otis seems to have probably came on time to the restaurant because that's what he does. He's a gentleman. But he's shocked and astonished and upset. Mandy doesn't even see him. And he leaves. Drops the rose. Drops roses on the floor and he leaves. And people were upset about that angle. About here is the big build-up. And this is how you do it for that big build-up. Nothing happens on the date. It never begins for poor Otis. But I will tell you, this was perfectly done. Perfectly done. You got that imagery just by looking on Otis's face of a person that was crushed. His heart was ripped from his chest and just crushed. You probably were going to burst out in tears and start crying. Because, well, Otis definitely looked like he was going to cry. Perfectly done. Perfectly. He said very little in Otis, but he's like portrays himself to be like that lovable uncle, like that lovable goofball, the guy that is such means all so well, and he's the nice guy, and here comes Dolph, the arrogant a-hole, and Dolph is along, and Otis always finishes last. Played out perfectly. This Otis angle and Mandy Rose angle, I will tell you, is probably this and the Randy Orton angle is probably the two best angles right now that you have going on TV. Hands down. Hands down. As we come up to the red light here. That will do it, guys, for this week's edition of Cleanpin. I hope everything's going well for you guys, and I definitely look forward to speaking to you guys next week. Check out my other channel, my other videos here on this channel. Check out my other channels below as well. They're in the links. I hope all is well, guys, and we'll speak very, very soon.